Today, I'm going to talk about 6 mistakes parents make that can delay their toddler's language development. As parents, we all want our children to reach their full potential, so it's important to be aware of these mistakes and to avoid them. Hey, it's Morgan, and welcome to the Passable Parent channel. I've been a pediatric nurse specializing in early childhood development for the past decade, and I'm also a mom of 2. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you don't miss out on any future videos. And make sure to comment down below if you have any questions. I love to hear from all of you. Thanks so much for your support. The first mistake is asking too many questions. While it's natural to want to engage with your child and encourage conversation, constantly asking questions can actually be overwhelming and counterproductive. It's important to remember that toddlers are still learning language and may not have the vocabulary or comprehension to answer complex questions. Instead, try to make comments or statements that your child can respond to. For example, instead of asking, "What color is this?" you could say, "This is a red ball," and let your child respond. Another mistake I see parents making is withholding items or toys until their toddler says the word. While this may seem like a good way to encourage language development, it can actually backfire. It assumes that the child knows the word and is intentionally not saying it when they may not know the word yet. Instead, try to use a more natural approach. For example, if your child wants a ball, you could say, "You want the ball?" and give it to them. This way, you're modeling the correct language and giving your child the opportunity to hear and learn new words. The third mistake that I see a lot of parents making is repeating mispronunciations back to their toddler. While it's natural to want to mimic your child's language, it can actually reinforce incorrect speech patterns. So instead, try to model the correct pronunciation of the words that your child is struggling with. For example, if your child says wabbit instead of rabbit, you could say, "Yes, that's a rabbit." The fourth mistake is not talking enough to your toddler. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and the bustle of daily life, but it's important to remember that toddlers learn language by hearing it. By talking to your toddler as much as possible throughout the day, you can actually help build their vocabulary and comprehension skills. Talk to your child about what you're doing, what you're seeing, and what they're doing. The more language they hear, the more they will learn. Fifth mistake I see is not responding to your toddler's communication attempts. Even if your child isn't speaking in full sentences yet, they may be trying to communicate with you through gestures, facial expressions, or single words. By responding to these attempts, you can encourage your child to continue communicating and build their language skills. For example, if your child points to a toy ball and says ball, you can respond with, "Yes, that's a ball. Do you want to play with it?" The sixth mistake I see is using baby talk. The baby talk is really great for your young baby's brain, but not so much for your toddler. While it may seem cute and endearing, using simplified language can actually hinder your toddler's language development. Instead, use age-appropriate language and speak to your child in a clear, concise manner. You're going to want to use full sentences and a wide vocabulary to model correct language and encourage your child to do the same. I also have some great tips for you to encourage talking in your toddler. The first is reading to your child daily and pointing out objects and describing them to your child. The second is playing games that encourage communication, such as I Spy or What's Missing. Another tip is to use praise and encouragement when your child attempts to communicate. Another tip is to repeat your child's correct words back to them to reinforce that vocabulary. And my final tip is to sing songs and nursery rhymes to help your child learn new words and sounds. Remember that language development is a gradual process and every child develops at their own pace. By being patient and using a positive and encouraging approach, you can help your child reach their full potential. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any future videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next video.